It's Friday, January 29th. Let's talk PlayStation. Alright, so not really a big week for PlayStation, not really a whole lot going on, except the one little major news story that we actually already covered in the Ryan on Gaming topic for this past week, because it was kind of a big deal, so we spent the whole video talking about it there. So, I implore you to go check that out to actually see that news story at greater length. But for those that did not see it, we'll cover it real quick, do a little recap, which is that Sony formed an entirely new company called Sony Interactive Entertainment. And this is going to be basically where Sony's going to be operating PlayStation out of from now on. Sony Computer Entertainment and Sony Network Entertainment are now going to be hubbed under Sony Interactive Entertainment. A few major people that were working within Sony, working under PlayStation, their roles have been changed a little bit. Andrew House is still president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment as a whole, but Sean Layden, he was president and CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment America. He now does Worldwide Studios. He's like the director of Worldwide Studios, basically. Shuhei Yoshida is still Worldwide Studios, but he reports directly to Sean Layden now. Jim Ryan is, he was previously Sony Computer Entertainment Europe president and CEO. Now he's doing global sales and marketing. A few different key people have moved around, but Sony Interactive Entertainment is their new thing basically that they're going to be operating out of. Their headquarters is going to be located in San Mateo, California. It'll be starting April 1st, 2016, this year. And Sony will still have headquarters in Tokyo and London, but this is kind of a big deal for Sony. So again, if you want a more in-depth thing about that, go check out the Ryan on Gaming topic. Now, there's really only one other news story I want to talk to you guys about, and it's not really specific to just PlayStation, but it's certainly very interesting and worth discussing. So earlier this week, Insomniac was teasing a new little game that they were working on. They were showing a teaser trailer and things, and then they finally announced it. It's called Song of the Deep. It's the side-scrolling Metroidvania-style game where it's kind of it has puzzle aspects to it. It's about this 12-year-old little girl that goes into the ocean, building a submarine or whatever, and looking for her father, but realizing there's kind of a hidden city down there or whatever. Kind of a cool-looking small game, whatever. But the big deal about it is that GameStop is publishing this game. Yes, you heard me right there. GameStop, the brick-and-mortar retailer, the one that we always make jokes about when they offer you $2 for the 57,000 games you're trying to sell to them or whatever. Yes, they are publishing this game, and as far as I know, this is one of the first times where they've ever really done anything like this. Developer makes the game, publisher deals with marketing, releasing it, printing the disc, distributing it, all that jazz. GameStop is basically playing that role now. Insomniac CEO Ted Price has already stepped forward and talked a little bit about this at great length, and saying, we still have complete creative control, and we do still own the IP, which we all know that's something that Insomniac has been wanting for a while now, since they finally broke free from doing first-party published, second-party published games with Sony, and Sony usually owning the rights to all their games, and Insomniac saying, we want to start owning our games from now on. So when they worked with Microsoft or EA with Fuse and Sunset Overdrive, they still wanted to retain the rights to their games nowadays. So with GameStop, that's another situation where they're allowed to retain the rights to their games, so I'm sure they're happy about that. But yes, GameStop is now playing that big role, and what's funny is immediately it's quite obvious why they're doing this, and that's we're always thinking in the back of our mind with a lot of retailers and all sorts of different businesses. It's how are these certain businesses going to adapt to the market? And in GameStop's case, it's more and more people are buying digital, more and more people are streaming their content, and at some point gaming is going to evolve into something where it's no longer traditional hard disk media. How is something like GameStop going to adapt to the market? How is GameStop going to still be around? I think I'm pretty sure this is them kind of testing the waters. And essentially that's what they're even saying, basically. I'll read you a quote. GameStop's Mark Stanley said, "Once we get this project to market, we'll look back and see, should we keep doing this? What could we be doing differently? Maybe there will be more opportunities in the future." Of course, a very PR-y answer, but it's pretty clear. This is GameStop kind of seeing how they can stay in the game here, and I guess what better way to do it than to actually get involved in the games industry. Certainly GameStop's always been in the games industry, but to actually be involved in the actual process of bringing games to market is an entirely different story, where who knows where that could go. GameStop is still a very big company. They have a crap load of money, so they are in a very good position to be a publisher, and certainly they can afford to publish this game, and certainly they could they have the funds to publish a number of other games if they really wanted to do so, and I guess this is just them seeing if it's really a viable option for them in the future. And it's, I guess, if it is, it's a good thing they're doing it now, certainly, because they want to figure it out and everything before the retailer really becomes in sort of a bad place where they're losing tons of money and no customers are walking to their doors anymore. I mean, they might want to jumpstart this now so they can really capitalize on it, because they do have these stores. You know what I'm saying? What they've already noted about what they're going to be doing with Song of the what's it called again? Song of the Deep. They're going to, you know, obviously do all the marketing and stuff, and GameStop has tons of, you know, great marketing stuff, and they can certainly market the hell out of the game in their store, but they're also going to be merchandising the game within their store. And the only way to get a physical copy of the game is actually at a GameStop store. Big surprise there, and that's kind of immediately like coming to my mind. Oh my gosh, if, you know, GameStop publishes another video game, they've got a monopoly basically on physical versions of the games. And, you know, that's the thing. It's like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, physical's gonna die, or, you know, people don't buy discs anymore. But it's like they still take up a majority of game sales. People still buy discs. They're still in very large volume. Digital sales are up, but people are still buying discs. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, GameStop's doing this now before it becomes a real issue for them, where they can't sort of bounce back from any sort of bad position they might be in. You know, stores like Best Buy are having a lot of trouble nowadays, where it's like, you know, they probably should have started to do something about that before they got into the position that they're in. So I'll just read you another one here. Mark Stanley says, the collaboration has felt very natural along the way. We're really working every step of the way collaboratively by bringing in all the areas of GameStop. Marketing teams, promotional teams, letting them come in and allow the Insomniac team to actually really focus on the game itself and making it everything they dreamt of it being. This is the project we're completely focused on right now. It's the first time we're doing this. There's been a lot of learnings along the way, and I think there's still a lot of learning to be had. Based on this, we'll obviously consider all options. I think one of our focus points and one of the reasons why we dove into this project is part of my role is to look at different ways of expanding our business and bringing more value to our customers. Now, whether you like it or not, GameStop is a big corporation. They're a big part of how people buy games, and they have a ton of money, and they can very much so be a part of the industry in this way if they really wanted to. Money talks, and, you know, a lot of developers need the money to publish their game, to fund their games, to release their games, to get good marketing for their games. Developers really depend on publishers more often than not. So GameStop could start to become a major player in the games industry if this one little situation really starts to work out for them. All it takes is one little test example for them to really start to put their foot in the door. And with GameStop, I guess it's finally becoming a reality. All right, those are just the two news stories, or I guess basically one news story that I want to talk about with you guys this week. Again, the Rana Gaming topic. It's Sony Interactive Entertainment. We're going to be talking about. I talked about, you know, what that means, what that's going to mean for Sony in the future, and how the company operates and all that. So if you didn't see it, check it out. And then we're still doing the Sly Cooper Let's Play and all that jazz. That's still going good. And keep submitting topics for Rana Gaming, please. I need you to submit topics, because if I don't have any topics, then I'm not going to be able to do that thing anymore. I'm not that creative. You guys have to tell me what to do sometimes. You can't put this all on me. That's too much pressure. Come on, guys. Or girls, excuse me. I know there's like 0.45% of you that are female. I always like to accommodate for everybody. I'm an equal opportunity YouTuber here. So that concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Ryan Benecki. Thank you all so much for talking with me, and I'll see you guys next Friday.